Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 3 from chapter 4 found on page 283. Add and subtract like fractions. So like fractions means fractions with the same denominator, the same bottom number. Real world link. Sean surveyed 10 classmates to find which type of tennis shoe they like to wear. Shoe type, number. Cross trainers, 5 people. Running, 3 people. High top, 2 people. What is the fraction of students what fractions of students liked to wear cross trainers? Well, as we can see right there, it looks like we have 5 that like to wear cross trainer out of what? How many is in total? Looks like 5 plus 3 plus 2 is 10. So we have 5 out of 10. If we were to simplify that, we could say that half of them like to, because half of 10 is 5. So 1 and 2. Half. Okay, let's see here. What fraction of students liked to wear high tops? High top is 2. 2 out of 10. So we have 2 out of the entire 10, right? And if we wanted to simplify this, both of these numbers are divisible by 2. We divide this by 2 and we divide this by 2. And we're going to get 1 in every 5 students likes to wear high tops. Please add the simplified versions as key answers. Number 3, what fraction of students like to wear either cross trainers or high tops? Well, cross trainer was 5 out of 10, right? And high tops was 2 out of 10. We have a like denominator. This is what we call a like fraction because the bottom number are the same. So we just keep the same number, right? Because it's out of 10 students, and 5 of them like cross trainer, while 2 of them liked high tops. So when we combine the 2 together, we get 7. So 7 out of 10, 7 students out of 10 like cross trainers or high tops. And there it is. So 7/10 or 7 out of 10 of the students like to wear either cross trainers or high tops. Explain how to find 3/10 plus 2/10, then find the sum. So, since the denominators are the same, 10 and 10, add the numerators directly across. So 3 plus 2 is 5 out of 10, or 5/10, which would equal a half. Okay, so half of them, this one was running shoes, and this one was high tops. So half of them, if you like to wear both running shoes and high tops, running shoes or high tops. Here's the key concept, okay? To add or subtract like fractions, add or subtract the numerators and write the result over the same denominator, So 5/10 plus 2/10, you keep the 10 because it's out of 10. And you add the top and you have 7 out of 10. Or with 12, 11 out of 12 minus 4 out of 12, you subtract the top and you get 7, so it's 7 out of 12. See? And as we mentioned, fractions that have the same denominators are called like fractions. For the sake of time and keeping the video short, please look at example 1 and example 2 on your own. Okay, so we're ready to try examples A, or practice questions A, B, C, D on page 284. A, like denominators. When we do it, we have 1/3 plus 2/3. We keep it out of 3, right? Because it's all out of 3, and we got the top, and we get 3 out of 3, which equals 1. It's a whole, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1, or 3 out of 3 means I have the whole thing. There it is, 1 whole. Okay, B. Remember, when we have a negative, the negative can belong to the top, to the bottom. Since we're trying to keep the bottom the same, let's just assign the negative to the top. So this is negative 3/7. Okay? Remember our class on adding and subtracting integers. So if we have negative 3 plus 1, it's going to be negative 2. And it's all out of 7. Just keep it out of 7. And next we have a negative plus another negative. So you spend this much money, and then you spend even more money, so you're going to be even more in debt, right? So we have negative 2/5 plus negative 2/5, right? It's going to be negative 4/5. And finally, negative 1/4 plus 1/4. I hope you caught on to this, that when you have a negative plus, its opposite, it's going to equal 0, right? So we have negative 1 plus 1, it's going to bring that to 0. 0 over 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. Okay? And there are your answers. Again, for the sake of saving time, please take a look at example 3 on your own, follow it, read it, and then see how it's solved. Now let's try E on together. Let's read it. Eduardo used fabric to make 3 costumes. He used 1/4 of a yard for the first one, so we have 1/4 of a yard. 2/4 of a yard for the second. Now you know that this can be written as half a yard, but let's just write it as 2/4 of a yard for the second. Okay, 2/4 of a yard for the second, and 3/4 of a yard for the third costume, and then 3/4 of a yard for the third costume. Meaning the costumes are getting bigger and bigger. How much fabric did Eduardo use altogether? So we're looking for the sum of all 3. So we can simply add all 3, right? We see that they're all out of 4, so we have a common denominator already, so we just make it out of 4. And now we have 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 3 is 6. So we have 6. So he clearly used more than a yard, right? Because it's more than a whole. 4 out of 4 would be a whole, but he used more. So how many 4s are in 6? We know that there's 1. So we have 1 whole. And then what do I have left over here on the top? If I say I have 1 4 there, what do I have left over? I have 2 left over to make it to 6. So now I have 2 over 4. To simplify, we write 1 and a half, because this is a half. 2 is half of 4, right? This we write it as a half. We simplify it. So it's 1 and a half. So we write a therefore statement. Therefore, Eduardo used 1.5 yards of fabric. That is your key answer. Please copy this sentence down right in here. Okay, we're going to continue now working with like fractions, but now we're going to subtract. So please look here at number 4 and number 5, how it's subtracted. Remember that we have to remember how to subtract integers, because we're subtracting a negative with a positive here. So we're going to take negative 5 minus 3. Okay, don't forget that you're adding the negatives together to get a negative 8, which equals a negative 1 in total. Okay, look at number 5 as well, and you can see how it's drawn out there in the diagram. Please pause the video and take the time to watch this. Remember, this is for your benefit and your understanding. Let's try the examples. So on F, our common denominator is 9, so we know our answer will be out of 9. Okay, so we have 5/9 minus 2 over 9 equals something over 9. So we have 5 minus 2 equals 3. Okay, and to simplify that, we have to write in the simplest form. We find a number that is a multiple of both of these numbers. 9 is a multiple of 3, and 3 is a multiple of 3. So we have 1 3 in the top and 3 3s in the bottom. So it's 1/3. Okay, again for G, now we have the same common denominator, which is 9, so it'll be out of 9. And now we have negative 5 minus 2. So what happens here is we have we're taking 2 more away. So we're in debt by 5. Remember, this is like adding and subtracting integers. We have negative 5 and now another negative 2. Overall, it'll be negative 7. Okay. Now this negative number can be on the top, it can be on the bottom, it can be on the side for the whole thing, like this, negative 7, 9, and it still equals the same. Okay, for letter H, we have this expression here, negative 11/12 minus negative 5/12. So we're doing a negative, negative. We're taking away negatives. We're going to take some negatives away from this, so it's going to make it a lesser negative number. Okay, which means a bigger number. Okay, if we're taking less away, we keep our 12. So we're going to have 11 take away. Negative 11 take away 5 of those negatives, which brings it down to negative 6. But remember, we have to look for common multiples, and we know that both of these are multiples of 6. Here I have 1 6, and here I have 2 6. So if I have 1 on the top, I write 1, and 2 on the bottom, right? And it's a negative half is our answer. And there you have it. I hope you you understood this, and I hope that you're not just copying down these questions. Remember these answers. Remember, you're only doing yourself a disservice if you're not actually following along and really learning from this video. It's not about doing it quickly. It's not about trying to just get it done. It's about learning. Here's the guided practice. Please leave the guided practice for class so we can do it together as a nice little warm-up. But please do the independent practice on your own. You know that if you ever need any reference or help, you can look here to examples 1, 2, 3, and 5. And for the word problems, you're also told which examples to reference so that you can, it's done like the same way as the examples, okay? All right, see you in class, everyone.